Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Sports Exchange. My name is Scott Morgan Roth from Motor Mad Mouth, Motor City Mad Mouth. Oh, there you go. I'm all tongue-tied from Talladega, anyways. Just coming off a great show with Pundit and Pundit. Jacob carried over. Jennifer Matthews Lewis did an awesome job as well. Great crew tonight. Let me go over the crew real quickly. We have a lot of different things we're gonna talk about today, so we are all over the sports map. In fact, we're gonna have a little geography lesson tonight. That's how geographically interesting this broadcast is going to be in more ways than one. Even though the majority of our people are from the Charlotte, Atlanta area, one in New York and one in South Florida. Travel is a big theme with this show. Rick Curdy, welcome back.
Thanks, Scott. Hope everyone's doing well.
And I know you last night you had a great episode on Fire Up Wisconsin with Eric Katz and Candy Ebling. And I hear that you guys got into some heavy duty debates. Good stuff. Okay.
Yep, we had fun.
And I know Will Vogel's pumped. That's why he kept texting me a lot when we were on Pundit. Don't worry, I'll put your pumpness to pretty good use. Welcome back, Will.
Thank you, sir. I'm always excited to have a show with you, and these guys are awesome co-hosts as well, and can't wait.
Well, we enjoy having you
Yeah,
back.
buddy,
Jacob,
definitely.
Jacob, long time no talk. Couple minutes, maybe?
Oh, a couple, 3 minutes, yes.
Is that all? Okay. Well, the Pundit Jacob is back, but in my house this time. And we got JB Ellis, the program, the little brother, the jack of all trades, etc. ... Welcome back, JB Ellis.
The Wacom master.
So if I'm the little brother, you mean that you realize Dom is then your younger brother? Because
Well, I don't know what I realize. All I know is, searching for a miracle because I'm not sure where Dom is at half the time, anyways. But I love that
he doesn't know where he's at half the time.
Exactly, that's my point. Thanks for making my point. All right, well, we have a lot of things to get to. We're going to give you a summary first at the beginning, then we're going to roll on to them. We're going to be talking about Aaron Judge. We're going to talk about teams with the least amount of travel. I found this to be a very interesting subject. Odell Beckham, after all, the program would like to know where he's going to go, and everybody's going to get an opportunity to chime in. MLB, the year of milestones. Everybody's going to get a crack at the World Series prediction, as well as your parting shots. So all I can tell you right now is this, okay? We're going to talk about Aaron Judge. Let me give you the particulars on Aaron Judge. Here's a guy that wears number 99. Roger Maris wore number 9. Okay, Maris's record was 61 years ago, and obviously he was on, and he had 61 round trippers, and Judge was able to get his 62 home runs in 157 games. So anybody that would even be dumb enough to think of an answer is he did it 157. Okay, so there. Aaron Judge turned down $213 million from the Yankees and bet on himself and figures to make more than $300 million. I know the San Francisco Giants are a team that people have talked about because from there, the ballpark is 100 miles from there. And then you have Steve Cohen. We all know he could probably go out there and dig into his pocketbook and cause a war with the Mets. That isn't good enough. He could remain with the Yankees. And according to ESPN's Buster Olney, he predicts 60-40 that Judge will remain with the Yankees. Boy, we got some activity in the chat room before I turn it on. So we have a Facebook user who's saying, wow, and how can you not have Brothers of Baseball on? Well, send us an email at southfloridatribune@gmail.com and everything can be worked out. Identify yourself, and then we can proceed from there. Tina Lewis, thank you very much for chiming in. Aaron Judge, the real home run king. A lot of people say Bonds. To me, Sosa, McGuire, but I have a problem with Bonds. So Tina, I'm really with you there. I would definitely favor Judge. So what I favor is one thing. What my crew is going to favor is another. We're going to lead it off with Rick Purdy.
About who's a real home run king, or?
Well, just talk about Aaron Judge in general. That's all.
Well, he had one of the most historic offensive years we've seen in a very, very long time. He just missed a triple crown by percentage points.
I'm sorry for that.
Yeah, I actually wanted to see him win a triple crown more than the home run title, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
But he had a great year. He totally bet on himself. I mean, my goodness. And he's probably going to make like $50 million a year. I think he'll stay with the Yankees. I thought he'd go to the Mets, but the Yankees would have to be incredibly, incredibly stupid to let him go out there. And, I think they would have a right if he left to go to the Mets or somewhere else. So I think he'll stay with the Yankees. And he bet on himself, and good for him.
Yeah, a lot better than Bobby Bonilla, although Bobby Bonilla's contract still ranks as one of the best contracts I've ever seen. But Aaron Judge is another shrewd New Yorker where it kind of worked out. So, yeah, no, I know he's going to fetch over $300 million. I would say if I were going to fetch a number, I'd say between $350 to $400 million compared to where the other contracts stand. With that said, Will Vogel, give me your thoughts. But before you do that, Tina Lewis, at least American League home run king. Yeah, well, he definitely has that. And I have an interesting stat on that as well, that the last three American League home run kings resided from the Yankees. We're talking Ruth, we're talking Maris, and we're talking Judge. But the last time, okay, that a home run king came from any team but the Yankees was the Boston Red Sox. And guess what? It was Babe Ruth. How about that? So there's a little trivia. I'll set you up there, Will Vogel, and take it from there.
So I'm a Yankees fan, always have been. Long life Yankee fan. I count Aaron Judge as the Yankee AL and all-time home run king because I know you have a thing in your friendship with Sosa, but Sosa took steroids, Bonds used steroids, McGwire used steroids. Judge has had one of the most historical seasons, like Rick said, in the longest time, and he is the favorite to win the MVP. What do I think about him leaving? I don't think he leaves. I get it. He's from San Francisco. He grew up idolizing Barry Bonds. He's from that area. They could throw him a lot of money. Are they going to be a winning team with him? I think they still need a lot more pieces. The Mets, they're intriguing. They've got Pete Alonso. They got McNeil. They've got a good pitching staff. But if you're the Yankees, how can you not re-sign a dude who bet on himself? And I would give him upwards to $300 million because this guy bet on himself and he had 62 home runs betting on himself. And it's awesome to watch. I was watching the game last night and I rewatched the home run over and over again. And if you're Steinbrenner, I am pulling out that checkbook as soon as possible and saying, Aaron, accept this. So, yes, I agree with Rick. I 100% think he's going to join the Yankees again.
All right, let's go back to Tina Lewis. Well, I feel like we have another guest. Thank you very much, Tina. I love the idea that you keep chiming in because you're just going to make the show even better. Thank you. So, as a diehard Yankee fan, and I bleacher creature, he is not going anywhere, especially the Mets. That is never going to happen. Thank you very much, Tina. I'm going to feed off everything you said, and then we're going to keep shifting it to everybody else. Next in line is Jacob Christner.
You've known me. The one thing I'm glad for Aaron Judge is he got past Maris, because to me, Roger Maris Jr. has annoyed the hell out of me the last about 4 months. I'm just being honest. Cannot stand the dude. And it's like, and this is the truth about Roger Maris, and this is completely true. He is just to get the stats, get to the life. He is basically Brady Anderson with 2 more good years. He had 39, 61, and 33 homers, and every other year was, he had 5 of the years with single-digit home runs. He had 3 years with a couple of 280s, 290s. His average without it's about 250. He has a career 260 average. That was the biggest what the hell ever. And it's like, and then so we get Roger Maris Jr. showing up, who I don't know what he even does. Does he live off his dad's name and make money from it? Because it's all we see of him. But the biggest thing about Aaron Judge, he's the AL home run king. Sorry, Bonds is the home run king. His intimidation, his home run, forget the home run thing. He was a 400 even before the steroids. His intimidation, his reaction time, his everything, his eye on the ball, even without the way that he could see the ball, he could hit to all fields. He once hit 372. So the biggest thing is Bonds is the home run kings. There was McGuire, there was Sosa. I mean, here's the thing, and I brought that up with Judge this year. I don't care if I was right or wrong. I don't care if they did take steroids because there were kids in the minor leagues and people hitting 200 that were taking steroids. If you're good, you're good. It is what it is, and it's like, and it's like, guess what? It's maybe 10 feet, which these guys are already hitting 450 feet anyway, so it's 460. So I don't care one way or the other. They're still playing really good baseball.
Okay, JB.
All right. So, Will, I'm going to address you first because I've been a Yankee fan before you were born. How many World Series we won with this guy? That's the only number that matters. I can care less about home runs, batting average, RBIs, whip, wins, WAR, whatever numbers you want to put out. The only number that matters in the Bronx is 28. Everything else means absolutely positively nothing. We have 0 since he's been playing for us. That doesn't mean he's not a good player, but $300 million, not my money. I don't care. The prices are ridiculous anyway. I looked at Mets playoff tickets this morning when they went on sale. $200 for the wild card for the lowest price seat. So I really don't care.
That's a lot to watch him lose. That's a lot to watch him lose to get out of there.
Wait, that's for the Mets who have the better stadium because the new Yankee Stadium is garbage. But anyway, so, you want to give him $300 million? I don't know. Let's win a World Series. Get me 28, then we can talk. Otherwise, I can replace him. There's nobody that's not replaceable. The problem is we're stuck with $40 million to Garrett Cole that, the guy can't win in the playoffs. You put him in there in the must-win games, he hasn't won. The home run thing, it's cool, but Bonds still is the home run champion for the year. I don't care what anybody says. He has the AL record. Whoop-de-doo. I didn't need to see every game, every at-bat. I watched the games. I'm a Yankee fan, but I don't need to see them on MLB, on this, on that. Who cares? Win 28. That's all that matters. It's all that matters.
I know exactly what you come from. You have a really good point, JB. I actually agree. World Series titles are more important in New York than a home run title or an MVP or a AL East crown.
And don't get me wrong.
World Series.
I don't think Judge was out there showboating and saying, I'm going to get Maris's record and all this. I think he's playing hard, and I respect him for it. Because, he could be a showboat and saying, I got the record and trying to live it up and all that. He's not doing that. He's just going out and playing. He's been pretty quiet during the whole race. So I have a lot of respect for him. He hasn't been out there talking or anything like that. But to me, it doesn't matter. After the season, I'll sit back and say, yeah, it was pretty cool. We got to see that. Right now, it's October. I want to win 28. That's all I care about.
And I definitely understand 100% where you're coming from, and I actually can agree with that.
All right, let me go back to the chat room. Tina Lewis, Judge says the same thing, that the cheater is the home run king. As a fellow Yankee fan, our wrong Judge is a great young man. And before I go on to the next topic, I do want to let everybody know that to subscribe to the South Florida Tribune on our YouTube channel or visit www.southfloridatribune.com and follow us on Twitter at Tribune South. To advertise, call 954-304-4941. The audio portion of the show can be heard on Breaker, iHeartRadio, Apple, Google, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. If you have a hard time subscribing from our website, no problem. Go to youtube.com, look up South Florida Tribune, and please hit the subscribe button. And Tina, we appreciate all your input in there, and please subscribe if you get a chance. We would appreciate it so you can see all these updates that they come, as well as everybody out there. So, all you guys good on Judge, or is there anybody else in a closing thought before we move on?
Well, I'll give JB a closing thought. The Cubs won 15-2 for our confidential. They won 15-2 to win it.
Listen, I have all the respect in the world for Judge. I think he handled everything really well. I'm proud for him as a young guy. I think he did everything right. But to me, it's done. Let's get 28. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
That's what I'm focused on now. Once that game ended, I was like, okay, let's win the World Series.
So Tina, meanwhile, is calling Bonds a cheater, not Judge. Well, I'm sure that.
Yes.
No, obviously, I'm with you there, Tina. I still feel that Henry Aaron is the all-time home run
Oh,
king.
he is. He
But
is.
we'll get to that another night.
No, he's not.
Pardon me?
No, he's not.
All right, well, save it. Well, you know what? Put that one on Pun and Spun It. I think we should.
Nah, that conversation's too boring for pundit.
Oh, is that, okay. Oh, you like suggestions? I just gave you one.
I know.
All right, well, we'll go to something that probably I don't know if this would even qualify for Pun and Spun It, but it does qualify for the Sports Exchange.
Yeah.
Does lesser travel amount to wins? All right, I'm going to break it all down for you.
That would be a good pundit one, actually.
Well, guess what? You can use that one, and I'll give you the outline with you. Okay, that the teams with the least amount of travel for 2022, the NFL. I'm going to go over 5 of them. Okay,
Yeah.
The Pittsburgh Steelers. It doesn't matter who the heck is quarterback there. Okay, Kenny Pickett didn't have to travel far. All he had to do was go across the building. That's all to get where he's going to get his contract signed. But anyway, let's stay with the Pittsburgh Steelers. 6,442 miles. They have a record of 1-3. Detroit Lions, 8,348 miles with their kneecaps, fighting kneecaps. I might add, they're 1-3. The Baltimore Ravens, 9,500 miles, 2 up, 2 down. Cleveland Browns, 9,986 miles, 2 up, 2 down. And the Chicago Bears, 10,086 miles, 2 up, 2 down. And folks, before I have my crew address this, I gave you a lot of numbers, so that should give you every reason to go ahead and listen and watch this show because there's a lot of lottery numbers you can win off of. And if you win, I don't want to know about it. And if you do decide to let me know, southfloridatribune@gmail.com gets it done. So with that said, what I'm trying to tell you is the teams with the least amount of travel doesn't necessarily constitute the wins because I don't have a team over 500 in this group. With that said, Jacob, okay, since you might consider this as a topic for Pundit,
Yeah.
give me your thoughts about it.
No, it wouldn't. You brought up the Bears, 10,086. A little piece of trivia on that. The Bears are amongst the lowest amount of travel every single year other than 4 years. Every 4 years is the West Coast trip. It's the AFC or NFC West. So then there's some of the biggest travels. But other than that, they're amongst the lowest traveled each and every time because of they're completely in the Midwest with the division. And then you go through the NFC, which is close. So they have theirs. But no, truthfully now, it doesn't matter. Back in the time when you all had to squeeze into one plane, like let's just say a hypothetical WWE when they all had to be in coach in first class or whatever, these are 350-pound men, and they're squeezed into that little plane. That's when it would have mattered. Now their planes are completely stocked. It is a lap of luxury. You can sleep. You can stretch out. You can be able to do all that kind of stuff. It's such a different time now. So here's the thing. You can go look at the amount of miles like New England all those years had to travel with the Brady and stuff like that. With all those, they had to travel a ton because you got to remember their rivals are like Indianapolis. Their rival, and then you go across the West Coast. They always had the one West Coast game because of NBC. So you'd have that. They're always the most well-traveled, and they always won. So really, it's because that would matter when it was stretched, but now, no. It really doesn't matter anymore because everybody's got a lap of luxury. And plus, it's kind of like the idea of college to pro. It's like in college, it matters when when you got a bunch of kids dealing with the crowds, 100,000 people. But when you're in the pros, you do that 16 times every single time. You're an adult. You're an adult human being that can handle the noise. You mature. It's a little different now. It doesn't matter anymore.
So then you're telling me your answer is no, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, we'll go over to JB.
Yeah, I'm with the no on this one. I think years ago, when travel wasn't as easy, this would have been a lot more difficult. The league has done a great job instituting bye weeks and trying to make it as easy as possible with travel. I don't foresee travel with the way that the athletes travel now, the first class flights, the chartered flights. and everything. The nice places they stay. If this isn't, the 1950s, 60s, 70s, it's a much different world now. If they're not leaving the day before the game, they're leaving Thursday, Friday. They have time to acclimate to the time zone and the temperature, the climate, the altitude. It doesn't matter at all.
Well,
I agree with both these guys. It's a no. The guys leave plenty of time in advance, which, like JB said, it gives them acclimated to the time, weather, climate. They have nice places to stay. Traveling's a lot better. They're in luxury jets. And also, they do walkthroughs days before the game to see how the field is, how to prep on the field, and do practices on the field. So, no, it's a lot easier now than opposed to back then when you had to cram everyone in. Like Jacob said, it is a lot easier and more fancy now.
all right, turn it over to Rick.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with all three of them. Back in the days like the 20s or 30s, everything was by train. Planes didn't travel as farther. And now, we got the advancement of technology and planes where you can go from one country to another in a day. I think the only time it affects you is if it's a East Coast team going to a West Coast area or vice versa, or if you're going to London or playing these games in Mexico or whatever the NFL is trying to do. But other than that, it's flying is much easier. Nice fancy private planes, and yeah, they get some of them. I remember when the Panthers would go to Seattle, they always go like a day early, so they get used to the time change.
Yep.
And I'm from the West Coast. I know how about the time changes; it can mess you up. So that's the only time it would affect it. But and looking at the records, it's not like all those teams are really, really great teams, and they're historic teams. So it really has no effect anymore at all.
All right, there's one thing I want to add before we go on to the next topic. You know what? I'll agree with y'all. You say no. But I'm going to throw out a very interesting example that popped into mind while y'all were talking about. When the Detroit Red Wings were playing in the Western Conference of the National Hockey League, they played in the Western Conference. One of the closest trips they happened to have, actually, until they added the Columbus Blue Jackets, was the Chicago Blackhawks
and the Blues.
Right, and that's it.
Yeah.
But the Detroit Red Wings still managed to win the Stanley Cup 4 times as a member of the Western Conference anyways. And I used to talk to Kenny Holland all the time about it. And until he ended up getting him to the Eastern Conference. So, and that fed off what you had to say, Rick, when you brought that. I was like, geez, oh, Pete, you can't get a better segue than that. Red Wings being in the Western Conference, now they're in the East. So.
Yep, Scotty Bowman.
You bring that up with like teams that are just in odd divisions and conferences. The Atlanta Braves were in the National League West for years until they redid the divisions. And I'm growing up looking at a map, learning it, and I'm like, Atlanta's all the way over here. Why are they with San Francisco and the Dodgers and the Padres?
And you know what's so funny about that, JB? It makes me think, when I talk baseball with my dad, he always thinks the Astros are still in the National League.
Yeah, it's just, it's weird how it is.
Well, for
my dad's turning 62 this year, I think. And he's like, yeah, the Nationals are in the American or National League, right? I'm like, no, not anymore.
Well, for that matter, you're going to mention that, JB, the Cincinnati Reds were the same division as the Dodgers too. So, so I'm with you all the way. All right, next
think of the old in the Central. The old with the old in the '80s with the NFL. Remember the old remember the NFC Central when you had Tampa Bay with everybody else.
Yes.
Well,
then Atlanta was in the AFC
the West.
Falcons.
Yeah. Right. They were the NFC West too.
Right.
Well, think about the early 80s. Here's the thing. Chicago, like 80, 81, I believe, was in with like Los Angeles before they did their conferences. Chicago was in with Los Angeles. So think about that for a second.
I don't know. I liked it when the Buccaneers were in that division. I was going to USF, so I have no complaints about it.
Well,
And
yeah,
I
you get
think,
to see them get their butt kicked all the time.
wow, leave me alone. I have to deal with that. We had some good games when Barry Sanders ran all over the Buccaneers. So, but those were good. It was the other beatings that we took that were hard to live with.
Yeah.
But every time I used to go there, though, I would go to Busch Gardens when I was traveling up north, and if that wasn't good enough, they had a few good steakhouses in Tampa. I got to see some
Nice.
of them. So that was, and I was staying in the team hotel, getting the team rate. So no complaints how that worked out. All right, we're going to stay on the gridiron, okay? And JB, I had to bring this one here tonight because I know you're going to the Napa Valley. So I decided to move it up a week and not put it on next week. Odell Beckham Jr. Will he go after his injury heals? Give you some choices. Green Bay Packers, LA Rams, or other. All right, JB, you're going to wait, okay? Start it off, Rick.
Well, we talk about people we can't stand. I cannot stand this dude. He's such a diva. I wish he would just disappear and go away. But I think recently he was actually in Buffalo looking at the Bills. So to me, he's going to go to the team that looks the best, that has the best chance to win a Super Bowl. So I would be surprised if he went to Buffalo. But I just, this guy is so annoying, and I just wish he would just disappear. Maybe he can go back to the Giants where he was
All
at his
right, give me
best.
one choice. Don't get into your Mount Rushmore where everything's five.
All right, he's going to Buffalo. There you go, because he's going to go
I
to the
know,
team
but
that's the
Rick, you
best
know
shot at
what?
winning Super Bowl.
What I like about Rick Curdy, though, guys, I know you guys are getting to know him. Okay, this guy here doesn't mind trying to go out there and, you know,
I
see
just
if
want
he
to
can
let
win.
everyone know how annoying he is and how I can. He's like the Roger Maris Jr. for me. He's annoying. I wish he would just
That
Rick,
disappear.
works.
that's how
Yeah.
I felt.
But he's going to
when I
Buffalo.
switched
Buffalo.
up.
All right. Well, I know Rick every once in a while will try to go on the fence here, look to get that extra shot. I'm going to, he said 4, I'm going to get 5. No, 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 as Dikembe Mutombo would say.
Yeah.
Okay. With that said, well, since you got your finger up, you can give me your prediction about where you think Odell's going, since I do notice signals like this. So I know everything about segues.
No,
Well,
I was doing the Matumbo thing. So last time we saw Odell Beckham Jr., he was in the Super Bowl. He was helping the Rams, and he had a great game until he got injured. I actually think because the Rams are struggling, they have offensive line issues. A lot of O-linemen are getting hurt. And what's his name? What's his name? Van Jefferson's not back yet. If you're Cooper Kupp and Matt Stafford, I get it. Cooper Kupp's amazing. One of the best receivers in the league, top 5. Call OBJ and say, hey, I know we're not on a hot start right now, but we're probably favored in our division. Let's run this back and let's try and get to another Super Bowl. So what I think, even though Aaron Rodgers, I saw a quote said, I'm really good friends with OBJ. I have his phone number. We stay in touch. I'm still sticking with the Rams. I think he comes back to the Rams and helps them reclaim that division and turn things around.
turn it over to Jacob.
Do I have to? No, I'm just kidding. The reason I said do I have the reason I say do I have to with this one is the first question that I always have about the OBJ is how's his knee? What does it matter at this point? Because if he had a blown knee like this coming up to the age that he's at, I mean, I can't. How do I trust he's going to stay healthy? But if I've got to get him an answer, I'm saying Green Bay, because you're going down to the wire with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron each and every year he goes to the playoffs. I mean, let me tell you, to be very, very truthful, Alan Lazard is not a guy you go to for the playoffs.
Right.
You don't go to an Alan Lazard. You don't go to you don't go to a Cobb. You don't go to Cobb. You don't.
You got
go
too
to,
many rookies on that team.
Yeah,
too.
you go to rookies on the team. He doesn't have right now. He really doesn't have the offensive line the last couple of years, so he's moving around like crazy. He's one of the greatest quarterbacks we've ever seen in our lives, but he doesn't ever have a home run hitter that can just take the eyes off of everything. That could be, and then he could be able to do that. He doesn't have that the last few years, and I believe Green Bay goes after him. But at the caveat of that, how's his knee? We got
Exactly.
this is the same. I go with Zion Williamson. How's his? I don't care how many muscles he has. How's his foot? And it's
I
like we
agree.
have to ask these questions.
Yeah, exactly. Health's the main concern.
All right, JB, since he used to be a Giant, you think he'll ever be a Giant again, or where is he going?
He's never going to be a Giant again. And the Rams need help. I mean, they have Allen Robinson, who was the number one for the Bears. Not that the Bears offense is great, but he's a viable receiver. I mean, if you see Allen Robinson in the LA area, please call Matthew Stafford and let him know, because he doesn't see him. 27 of 36 passes were thrown to Cooper Kupp and Tyler Higbee. Scott, I beg to differ that you could have got that pick six because you knew where the ball was going. I mean, I'm watching that game and I'm saying, it's going a Kupp over there. And sure enough, pick six. You can't keep doing that. This is the NFL. This isn't the UCF SMU game I'm watching right now. This is the NFL. Can't do that. So if they can get Odell, they're going to take him back. I like to see him go to the Packers because, let him go suffer with that good guy Aaron Rodgers, who I can't stand. Let him suffer there and be really cold all winter in beautiful Lambeau Field, which everyone should go once if you haven't gone. It's beautiful. But Aaron Rodgers ain't ever going to win another Super Bowl, so let him go
Winter's
up there
coming
and suffer, but I think he's going to go back to the Rams.
All right. Well, you know what, JB? As much as I think I'd be intrigued by Green Bay that he would be the replacement for Devontae Adams, I still think you go back to the Rams. And the reason why is he rebuilt his image with the Rams, number one. He's got a good wide receivers coach by the name of Eric Yarber that few people even know about, that I got to know during Super Bowl coverage when I was doing the remote broadcast as well. And let's face it, I do believe in my mind Matthew Stafford will find Odell Beckham. And at the current rate the Rams are going, they cannot rely on Cooper Kupp. And Allen Robinson, everybody thought he would be a big contributor, and maybe he'll eventually be one. But I do believe in my mind that Stafford found Beckham to be a real comfort type of guy once they got acclimated. So you know what?
Yeah, and the good thing, I'll say something real quick, Scott, is the good thing about, I love Cooper Kupp, great, phenomenal player. The good thing about OBJ is if OBJ's covered, someone's going to leave Kupp. Someone's going to leave Kupp.
Exactly.
If Kupp's covered, then OBJ's going to be open. So it's a tick for tat, and I love the play of Cooper Kupp, and definitely OBJ rebuilt his image when he was in the Rams. Like, shoot, before he got injured in the Super Bowl, he was having a phenomenal game.
Well, good. Then all you did well was reinforce my point. Thank you very much for chiming in. All right. But guess what? We're going to chime in on another topic, okay? MLB, the year of the milestones. I think by now we know what they are, but I'm going to mention them anyways. Okay, Albert Pujols, I believe at last count, he had, 703 home runs. Mm-hmm. Miguel Cabrera had 3,000 hits. And yes, we talked about him earlier. We'll talk about him again. Aaron Judge has 62 home runs. So with that said, guys, I want you to give me the one of these. And Rick Curdy, one. Don't try to find it.
Yeah, Rick, one, not 1.5.
Yeah, I mean, don't put like you have for the last few years.
I just want to let everyone know how much I hate Odell Beckham, and I do hate Aaron Rodgers as well.
Oh, that's okay. You're entitled. There's a reason why you have the name Mr. Opinion for comments like that. But you didn't get the name Mr. Opinion because you keep waffling. When we tell you one, you give me two. When we give you three, you say four. That wasn't part of the nickname. That's not how we're marketing you. All right.
Gotcha.
Okay. Pujols, Cabrera, Judge. Which one to me is the most impressive milestone in your eyes, Rick?
Well, I'll pick one since they're all great. I'm going to pick one. I'm going to pick Pujols because what he's done. Look at all his numbers. Despite the home runs, they're amazing. And to have 700 home runs, he never had a 60, 70 home run season. Mr. Consistent wherever he went. It's amazing. He probably would have more home runs if he wasn't so injured with the Angels. So to me, Albert Pujols, all three are great, but if I have to pick one, I'm going to pick Albert Pujols over 700 home runs because it just shows the greatness that he did all through his years.
All right, Will, turn it over to you.
Got to agree with Albert Pujols. I've watched this guy's whole career. I was 7 when he debuted in 2001. This guy, over 700 home runs, is always awesome. Who knew that when he went to the Angels, he was going to get injured? Like, when he went to the Angels, I'm like, okay, he's going to be with them for a few years, and he's going to sign a one-day contract with the Cardinals and hang it up. No, he goes to the Angels, gets knocked up a little bit, goes to the Dodgers, gets knocked up a little bit, plays a little bit there too. Then he goes to the Cardinals, helps Arenado, helps Goldschmidt, helps a decent pitching staff, helps Wainwright, helps Molina go for one last ride to a World Series. And when I saw he was coming back to the Cardinals, I said, wow, this guy is literally what his nickname is, a machine. The machine. So, yes, seeing Pujols do that was and is awesome because I didn't like when I saw him in the Angels jersey and the Dodgers jersey. I'm like, this is not the Albert Pujols I know. Bring him back to St. Louis as soon as possible. So yes, Albert Pujols would be my choice.
All right, I'm going to turn it over to Jacob.
Oh yeah, Pujols, no question. The reason being, he's got 700 homers, and his time in the American League was trash. Just being very, very honest, the injuries, the numbers, the everything, and he still got 700. That means if he stays with the Cardinals, forget the going anywhere else. Stays with the Cardinals, he's got 850, easy. I mean, he will blow. I mean, forget the whole debate on Bonds, Aaron, all that stuff. It would be Pujols, and it's like, and to me, everything is saying it to me about this divorce with his wife and all that kind of stuff. There's a divorce the minute he was going back to St. Louis. And the thing is, he should have stayed there with Yachty and with Wainwright. Should have stayed. There's no question in my mind his wife was the reason he went. And then there's no question there's a divorce because he wanted to go back to St. Louis. And it's like, and here's the thing, St. Louis, I drive to St. Louis when I go home. It's a trash area. Trashed. Garbage. It's terrible. So I see the thing. But it is a sports city unlike any other. And it's like you go there, you want to win for hey, we're Cubs fans. You know what I'm saying here, JB. But when you go to the Cardinals, you want to win for that fan base.
Well, you want a trash area. I hate to say this, and I'll turn over to JB. Stay away from East St. Louis.
I'm well aware of it.
Yeah, I know.
So,
no, we'll leave it alone. All right, JB, go ahead.
So, I mean, look at the guys you have in the list. You got Pujols, who had always great teammates. He always had a really good lineup. There's always guys protecting him in the lineup. Look at Judge. The Yankees have always a phenomenal lineup. You got Stanton. You got so many guys. I mean, depending on where he hits in the lineup, he hit second most of the year. They moved him up to lead off towards the end to get him extra at bats. But he's well protected in that lineup. Who did Cabrera have in Detroit? Those 3,000 hits, he has nobody in front of him or behind him because they've been rebuilding since I'm a little kid.
Right.
So he basically earned all of those hits. You got to pitch to Judge and Pujols at some point because if they're not beating you, somebody else on the team's beating you. Cabrera is all Cabrera. So, I mean, you're splitting hairs between Pujols, Cabrera, or Judge, but I'm going to go with Cabrera because I love what the guy did. He, class guy. I'm glad for him. I can't wait till he gets elected to the Hall of Fame. Happy for the other two as well, but I'm going to go Cabrera.
And I guess I'm going to be a homer too. If he didn't get hurt so much the last 2, 3, 4 years, can you imagine he'd probably be closer to 3,500 hits? Easily. Let us not forget that he's the last Triple Crown winner as well in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
So with that said, you're right. Who did he have? Well, he had Prince Fielder for a while, and then he had Victor Martinez when he wasn't getting hurt. But he didn't have the caliber of people that Pujols had, as well as Judge. So you know what,
JB, I agree with what you said about Cabrera.
I'm on fire today. Keep it going.
Yes,
Let's
you
go.
are.
Well, here's the
It's
thing, though.
the fire water you're drinking, dude.
Cabrera's a 33rd player to get in the 3,000 hit club, and I have a feeling he may be there by himself for a while. I don't see anybody joining it right away. So it's, in poker, we call this a full house. Okay. We have 3 Pujols and 2 Cabrera, and I don't play poker, but I know what a poker hand I have here. And
I do, and there's no one in here that can beat me.
Well, yeah, well, I'm not.
I know Go Fish.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah, same here, Rick.
I don't.
Gosh,
I've never.
Jacob,
I
play
have no idea how to play
game.
cards.
Come on, Jacob, play an easier game.
So here's the tail of the tape. We got Rick, who did make it to one choice. Okay. Over pool holes. Will, no problem with pool holes. Jacob, no problem with pool holes. And JB and I, my younger brother, okay, we both have Miggy Cabrera. All right. Tina Lewis, by the way, I want to go back to her comments. She wants 28. Well, yeah, I'm sure a lot of Yankee fans could go along with you. Many people wish Joe Girardi would be there to get the 28th instead of Aaron Boone, but I don't want to go ahead and get Rick Curdy started. But I had to acknowledge Tina Lewis, so there you go. So, all right, and speaking of, we'll segue over to the World Series prediction. Each of you will have a shot at it. So, all right, Rick Curdy, give me your prediction.
It's going to be the Dodgers. They're the greatest team in baseball. 111 wins. They're on fire. Freeman, hey, he's my MVP in the NL. Great free agent signee. And it's going to be the Dodgers.
Will?
I got Dodgers, Yankees. Yankees get over the hump. I just think it's about time. I want us at least to beat the Astros and the ALCS to get revenge. Who wouldn't want to see another Dodgers-Yankees World Series?
All right, but are you picking the Dodgers?
I'm picking the Yankees. I'm a Yankees fan. I always want to see the World.
All right, I know, but you took a lesson out of the Evelyn Woods, Scott Morgan.
You did me. That was me right there.
Okay, so in other words, this is called the fast talking, speed talking. So he said Dodgers, Yankees, but we didn't get a winner out of them. So all right, you're saying Yanks, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, Jacob, you're next.
Oh, last year, JB knows this story. Last year, I picked the Houston to win it off 5 months before. 5 months before, and they darn near got it. The Braves decided to undercut the whole dang thing. So I was 2 games off the way. But let me tell you this. Braves-Yankees World Series. Braves-Yankees World Series. I'm here. I see it. The Braves are, I see lulls in other teams. The Braves don't get into lulls. They're hitting it at the right time. And it's like I can see, and I could even see the Dodgers go out early.
So who do you have winning, Jacob?
Huh?
Let me guess, Braves.
I don't know. I'm not going to go for the thing because I did it from the Houston and I missed by 2 games.
No, you're going to give me a prediction, my friend.
Oh, okay. Why not? Why not? Back to back.
Okay, for Atlanta. Oh no! What you do on Pundits Funny, you set the rules. I set the rules on this show. And
I break your rules.
No, I know you would. Yeah, you're one of the few people that gets away with it. That's okay. All right, JB.
So the dream World Series I've always wanted to see, Yankees Dodgers. It's not happening. The Yankees are not winning. I've said this for the whole year, because I don't think we've done anything to improve our team to be a World Series champion. The Dodgers have, but they're not going to get past the Braves because the Braves are hungry. They fought all year to get over the Mets, and they finally did it the last weekend of the season. They're going to go back, and they're going to repeat against the Astros.
Yeah, I'm just an optimistic Yankee fan. The realistic one,
you're one
if
of
I
3.
had to pick a realistic one, I would say probably Braves Astros too.
And I don't want the Dodgers to be the Buffalo Bills of Major League Baseball.
Listen,
they've got
all I
ring.
can say is,
but it's
from the
during
beginning
COVID.
of the season, the Yankees weren't going to win the World Series. I'm not going to switch now. And I'm a Yankee fan. I'm going to root for them. I want to see it happen. But my professional opinion, not happening.
I can definitely agree with that, JB.
So you're going with Atlanta, right, JB?
Yeah, I think Atlanta's hungry.
All right. Well, you know what? I've seen the Dodgers play earlier in the year against the Marlins. Again, don't hold that against the Marlins because, it is what it is. But I still see great players no matter who they're playing. And I saw the Braves last night over at Marlins Park. And let me tell you what, they struck out 14 Marlins, and Kenley Jansen has 41 saves. When you have a back-end bull closing out games. So, here's the thing. I was sold on Atlanta after watching them last night. So I'm going to go with the Atlanta Braves. They're hungry. They'd like to win it back to back. And don't lose sight of the fact that they've won 5 straight division titles. The Dodgers have not won a World Series in a full season, I believe, in 40 years. So pretty hard. I was, yeah, that's how
you know what's really cool about where I live.
What's that?
It's very, very cool. Is I got to see the World Series fireworks going off when they won the dang thing.
Okay.
Yeah, from the thing, because remember they were in Houston when they got it, but then they showed the things. They were driving right by, and the people were watching it from the stadium. So it's kind of cool. You're just driving by the highway, and there's there's SunTrust, and then there's all the fireworks going off.
Now, I'll bet everybody on this panel probably does hope Dusty Baker wins it, or at least
I would love it.
I would love it too.
I love Dusty. I'm sorry.
Class guy. One of the few guys they could have hired for the trash throws to actually, if they won, I wouldn't be upset.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would say that Dusty Baker is probably the consensus sentimental choice, even though we've already made our.
Dusty is cool. Dusty,
yes, he is.
For an old man, he is cool. He still is. For an old man, he just is. It's like the young people love him, old people love him, women love him, men love. I mean, everybody loves this guy. He gives it off.
He's one of those few guys that can adapt to any generation and win with them, and he's definitely
his kid. He was 50 when his kid was born. He knows this young generation because he has a kid.
Yeah, it's the same kid that nearly got run over with the Giants.
And now he's a baseball player.
Now he's a baseball player. Go figure. I had no choice bringing that. All right. Well, guess what, guys? We got parting shots. Rick Curdy, lead off.
Well, we live in a generation today where we have to say this guy's better than this and this guy's better than that. And I'm so sick of it. I'm with Jacob about these fans that, every time I got to hear LeBron's better than Michael. Michael's better than LeBron. He had these players. He had these players. I'm so sick of it. Why can't we just say this guy's a great player? This guy's a great player. It's like people debating who's the better player, Pujols or Miguel Cabrera. And I'm like, they're both great players. And we should be privileged and honored to see 2 great players like that, 2 high-class players like that with these phenomenal numbers. Why do we always have to say this guy's better than this? This guy's better than that. I am so sick and tired of it. I'm sick of hearing about LeBron and Jordan. I don't want to hear it with Pujols or Miguel Cabrera's better or Joe DiMaggio's better than Ted Williams or vice versa. People are just great, great players, and I wish this generation would stop saying he's better than this, he's better than that, especially people who aren't even born in that era, have no idea. So knock it off. Let's just say they're all great players and move on and stop saying this guy's better than this when everyone's great, period.
All right. I want to welcome Philly Sports Talk Podcast. That's what's up, guys. If I were you, Philly Sports Talk Podcast, stay near the phone. You're going to be coming on a show within the next week or 2. I'm looking forward to bringing you on. Things are going pretty well for Philadelphians because the Phillies got in the playoffs, and the Philadelphia Eagles are looking awfully good. So, all right. So stay near your phone, Philly Sports Talk Podcast. I met him on a different network. This guy's a pretty good guy. He knows his stuff. With that said, I'm going to turn it over to Will Vogel. Give me your parting shots.
Guys, look forward to an awesome MLB playoffs. It should be a great one, and the NBA season is right around the corner. So I'm looking forward to that as well. And continue watching the NFL and college football as well.
All right, Jacob. Tom Brady's situation has gotten to reminded me of a big deal. It's another person who could not give up the competition. It's called Ric Flair. He did his final match, and I kept going on. Everybody around me saw my Facebooks over and over and said, this is not it. Nowhere close. His match was awful. It was horrible. It was a tag team match. He moved like a 93-year-old man, and it looked terrible, and he wants to do it again. And this is and it's going to kill him in the ring, and this is going to kill, because here's the thing, I still don't believe Tom Brady's going to go. I don't think he's going to go. He's going to ruin his family. Ric Flair's ruined family. He's ruined 5 families now. Ruined them because for the thing of competition and wanting to have fun. You know what this is? It means you're a 12-year-old.
Yes.
It means you're 12-year-old. Ric Flair is a 12. I mean, he's an all-time great wrestler. But I'm going to go to the Hulk Hogan forever as far as I was an old Hulkamaniac. Here's the thing. He's just got divorced and everything like that, but you want to know it in the end? He's just kind of having himself to chill and eat fruit, if you will. You know what I'm saying? That's what he's doing on his beach. He's running businesses. He's got a beach shop. He's got a beach shop. He's got a restaurant. He's running businesses and being a beach bum. At least he's running his boats. At least he gets it about growing up and being an adult. And the thing is, this can happen to Tom Brady if he's not careful either. You move on with your life, be a family man. Same with Flair. And you're 73, your kids are grown up. Find yourself a hot 50-year-old. Find yourself a hot 50-year-old and go back with Wendy. Grow up and let them before you piss everybody off. And then you die in the ring, and then you become a disgrace.
All right, JB.
So the MLB playoffs, the second season is going to start in about a week. I mean, I know we got the wild card stuff this weekend, but the top 4 teams, the Dodgers, the Braves, the Yankees, and the Astros, they have about a week off before they play baseball again. We added 2 extra teams, or team per league. So you got the top guys all getting a bye. Did the third wild card team bring that much excitement this year? To me, it really did. I think it was kind of useless. And on top of that, now you have your top teams sitting a week. Baseball's not a sport where sitting a week is a positive thing. It's a timing sport. Pitching, hitting is all timing. So your top 4 teams in baseball right now are at a disadvantage when they play game 1 of their series. I think baseball needs to actually go one more team in the playoffs, make it, go to 8 and 8, or just have everybody play, because having your top team sit out a whole week, getting rusty, there's nothing they're going to do to be game ready coming in that first game, and they're going to be all in holes before we get going. Not a good look.
Yeah, I remember how you say that. And before I do, I want to tell people subscribe to the South Florida Tribune on our YouTube channel, or visit www.southfloridatribune.com and follow us on Twitter at Tribune South. To advertise, call 954-304-4941. The audio portion of the show can be heard on Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Apple, Google, Spotify, excuse me, wherever you get your podcasts. If you can't find it through our website, once again, please go over to youtube.com, search for South Florida Tribune, hit subscribe button. JB, I want to elaborate on your point. I remember when the Detroit Tigers took on the St. Louis Cardinals. They were off for a while, but for about a week, and they were rusty, and the Cardinals walked away at 1-5. So that's a good point. So excellent closing thought. I have a couple here really easily. Number one, my parting shot is to the MLB regular season. The New York Mets days in first place were 175. The Atlanta Braves were in first place all of 8 days. So my goodness, it all talks about just getting in the playoffs, and then where you start, it's where you finish. And then obviously the Braves now have an opportunity to repeat. So I was actually thinking the Mets would actually win the division, but when it came down to crunch time, they weren't able to do it. And the Atlanta Braves went out there and proved that their experience, great manager, and Brian Snitker. And there they are, divisional champs. I had a chance to see the game over at Marlins Park. And as I segue over to that, you know what, Don Mattingly, I have a few good pieces of advice for you. Enjoy the time off with your family for the little time that you are going to have. Okay, I know the Marlins have offered him a job somewhere in the organization. Don will probably take his time, just relax a little bit. The Marlins managerial search will go on, and I think the next person on their hot seat will be General Manager Kim Ng. Because, Don, you won't be off long. I even told one of the communications people yesterday that, Don said I could get his email address. We'll see if they give it to me. I said, if I can't get it, you know what I told the guy? It won't matter. Our paths will cross one day. This man will be managing again. Anyways, I didn't tell him that. But I can rest assured I will apply for games when Don Mattingly is there. I struck up a good working relationship with Don the last 3 years. One of the truly classic guys out there. Wherever he resurfaces, I'm sure he'll have a much better group of players to work with. And I do believe he took that franchise as far as he could and did the best he could. And one of the questions I asked him during the media availability was, when you looked at the pandemic season, is there anything that you regret in terms of what happened after that? He said, yeah, there is some regret that we couldn't sustain it and keep it going after that time that they got him in the playoffs. But then again, Don Mattingly, with every question I ask, okay, has always been first class and just tells you straight. So with that said, we're going to go out there and let everybody identify themselves. And when Jacob Christner comes back up, and he doesn't make me feel like Ray Charles and I can't see him, which thankfully he did pop in here. Okay, you lead off.
Mm-hmm. Monday nights during the season, the Megan Price's NBA Carousel. Tuesday nights during the season, Confidential. We have one more week next week. And then from there on, from going that Wednesday nights, doubleheader, Pundit's Pundit, wonderful show tonight, and then here, right afterwards with Motor City Madmouth. Thursday nights, I get off of sports a little bit. Go with go out with TJ Sanson. We have a show called Yin and Yang about it could be about films, politics, psychology, everything. She does a lot of the talking. I play straight man. And then Sunday, and then sometimes, depending on when they need me or not, I'm on the gauntlet, just depending on which. And then Sunday nights, Basket Bros.
Yeah, that's a fun show to be on there, especially when I can see you guys instead of being on iPhone where I can't see you. I felt that it was a pretty interesting experience, that's for sure. All right, Rick Curdy, you're next.
Okay, well, you can find me on my website at www.charlottebats.com. We have a petition on there, and we're trying to bring Major League Baseball to Charlotte, North Carolina. We're also on Facebook at Charlotte MLB. We're on there at Charlotte Bats Baseball. I'm on Instagram at Charlotte Bats. I'm on Twitter, Charlotte Bats Baseball. And I'm also on LinkedIn under Rick Curdy. If you have any comments or questions, you can email me at cltbatsbaseball@gmail.com.
Yeah, Rick does a good job on all the shows that we have here. He works. Last night he was on Fire Up Wisconsin, 108 such as baseball, talk, sports exchange. Really put him, but more importantly, he's a huge help on social media. All right, Will Vogel, you're the guest tonight. So nice job. Wasn't that hard now, was it, Will?
No, it was always a blast. You guys can find me Monday nights on Megan Price's NBA Carousel. Tuesdays, 108 Stitches with Baseball with Scott. Wednesdays, Fire Up sometimes. Just depends. Or this, I don't know. We're still trying to work out the kinks.
Yeah, well, that's all right. Will's there when I need him. That's all he needs to know right now.
Exactly.
He's what we call our chameleon here of the network. He'll move around where we need him to go. So all I need to do is to take a little bit of advice from the Lion King when I come up with all these topics. Just relax, man. That's all.
Exactly. Thursday, the Sip-Off hosted by Megan Price and Johan Phillips. Fridays, occasionally the Gauntlet. And Sunday, Basket Bros. That's all for me.
Yeah, there you go. All right, and last but not least, JB Ellis will have next week off. He's going, as I understand, to California. He'll be back in 2 weeks, but let him know everything about you, JB.
So JB _ the program. It all starts Tuesday at 8:30. It's Sideline Sports on DBTV overnights. Also live everywhere 8:30. 11 o'clock Confidential. One last show. Jordan Long going to host for me next Tuesday. Right here Wednesday. But before here, we start at 7 p.m. Eastern. The J&J Sports Express. We focus on 5 NFL games against the spread. And then every other Wednesday, both sides of the coin, 11 o'clock. Make sure you tune it in. Sideline Sports shows 7 nights a week. You can see almost everybody here. Rick, I don't know why you're not on any of our shows. We need to work on that because I think you got a lot to say. But
yeah, I like to be on your shows.
We got a lot of shows. So I don't know why you're not on any. We'll figure it out. But Scott, it's on you now.
Yeah, you're right. We'll figure it out. But meanwhile, while you guys figure it out, I will add one thing. I'm not mentioning everything about the YouTube channel. But if you want to email us, just email us at southfloridatribune@gmail.com. And also want a special shout out to Candy Ebling, who does an outstanding job, not only with her on-air presence on Sideline Sports, but what she does here as well. So, Candy, I know she's our real MVP. She really is. And another special shout out one last time to Tina Lewis and Philly Sports Talk podcast are hanging out with us tonight. So meanwhile, great broadcast tonight. Rick, Will, JB, Jacob, as Dick Vitale would say, you're awesome, baby. All right. With that said, that concludes this episode, and we'll catch you the next time. Good night, everybody, and have yourself a wonderful weekend. Bye now.
Good night.